tonight. The fire got traders' stalls at Machinga Market in Mwanza. President Dr. Ali Mohammed Shein of Zanzibar calls for peaceful election campaigns. And in sports, the national women's football team Twiga Stars has flown to Tunisia to participate in the UNAF tournament. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. A big fire claimed to have been started by an electrical fault has gutted more than 65 stalls at the Machinga Market at Makoroboi area in Mwanza, causing 159 traders to incur losses. Some traders commended the rescue and fire force for its prompt response to put out the fire.
The problem lies with the meter. It could not handle the high voltage, but he did not heed the warning. As a result, we've been reduced to this. We arrived at the scene on time and immediately started to put out the fire. Nobody has been hurt. Security has been restored. A lot of units did not catch fire, and it was the responsibility of the police to restore peace. Merchandise that did not catch fire, we made sure that it was not stolen by those who used disasters to steal from others.
Ili watu waendelee kutambua maeneo yao na wale wanapata athari, mfumo mwingine ya jinsi ya kushughulika nao itaendelea.
President and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Ali Mohammed Shein, has called on political parties to ensure they conduct peaceful election campaigns. Dr. Shein gave the call when addressing stakeholders from the legal sector and residents during the climax of Law Day in Zanzibar.
Political parties that will participate in the general election campaign, when the time arrives, they should do so while observing agenda that will bring development for our community and nation, instead of using such an opportunity to cause chaos and create animosity.
Iringa District Council needs to rehabilitate more than 30 bridges which were destroyed by ongoing rains. This was said by the acting director of the District Council, Wapa Mpwewe, when presenting the report to Idodi village, where flood victims were also given mattresses donated by non-governmental organization World Vision.
The Municipal Council, together with TANROADS and TARURA, has continued to work with the people to restore the infrastructure. I was admitted at the hospital when my house got flooded. So when I came back, I found a lot of my belongings had been damaged. We've given out 100 mattresses. We were advised on which areas help was needed most.
A dispute between residents of Itilima district in Simiyu region and Maswa Forest Reserve has taken a new turn after the residents complained to the Minister of Livestock and Fisheries, Luhaga Mpina, that their livestock are being seized by people who claim to be wildlife rangers, were only to be sold to other livestock keepers. Minister Mpina responded to the concerns by directing the District Commissioner to convene a meeting with the head of wildlife rangers, the legal officer from the Ministry of Livestock, and residents to resolve the matter.
Mifugo hao walikuwa ni 336.
There was 336 livestock. Afterwards, cattle herders were put under arrest, but they made an appeal and won. What is most surprising is only 47 cows were returned.
Lakini sasa mambo mengine yametolewa kama mifugo waliuzwa tena kwa mnada, lakini kuna taarifa zingine zilizotolewa kwamba
From information at hand, it is clear that some of the livestock was auctioned and some died. This matter must be investigated further under the supervision of the district commissioner.
Na wewe kwa mamlaka ulio nayo umwagize manager wa Maswa Game Reserve aje na vielelezo vyake vyote.
Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM's Central Committee has met in Dar es Salaam, where among agendas was to receive a preliminary report on interrogation done by the party's Ethics Committee on former Secretary General Yusuf Makamba, Abdul Rahman Kinana, and former Minister of Foreign Affairs Bernard Membe. The Central Committee, under the chairmanship of President Dr. John Magufuli, has issued 7 days to the Ethics Committee to complete the report. The Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Professor Joyce Ndalichako, has called on investors to invest in the education sector, as Tanzania is in great need of schools due to increase of students contributed by the free education policy. She made the call when launching the Turikisha Marif school in Dar es Salaam.
Uhitaji wa shule umekuwa ukiongezeka, baadhi ya maeneo kumekuwa na msongamano kutokana na ongezeko la wanafunzi.
Tanzania, with its political and economic stability and with its natural resources, is a country of prime importance in East Africa. Tanzanian government has a goal to become a middle-income country by the year 2025. In this context, educated human resources have vital importance. Good education is the gateway to realize these objectives.
Members of Parliament from the Budget Committee have commended investment done by Serengeti Breweries Limited (SBL) on expansion of its plant in Dar es Salaam. The committee has said that the expansion investment will contribute to employment creation and increase demand of locally grown products such as barley and maize.
Uwekezaji wao kwa mujibu wa taarifa waliotupa ni uwekezaji mkubwa.
From the information we've received, it indicates that this is a big project. It is about 30 billion worth. This means that Tanzanians will get employed and earn a living from this factory. However, a discussion between all stakeholders is important, so together we can decide.
Zaidi ya shilingi bilioni 30.
It is going to invest more than 30 billion shillings to increase beer production. The increase in sales is as a result of a favorable tax system.
Kutaka kupanua kiwanda chetu yametokana na hali nzuri ya kutokuongezea kwa kodi.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows shortly. And in international news, the burial ceremony for the late Mzee Daniel Rotich Arap Moi saw thousands of mourners gather for the final send-off at his Kabarak home in Nakuru. The body of the late Mzee Moi was flown from Nairobi aboard a police helicopter at around 7:45 a.m. and arrived at Kabarak at 8:37 a.m. When President Uhuru Kenyatta arrived at Kabarak with First Lady Margaret Kenyatta, they were received by leaders from the Kenya Navy, Kenya Defence Force and Kenya Army.
So I can truly say that I'm here to say kwaheri to a man I considered my father, my mentor, my teacher, and to say that truly we shall miss him. But the greatest gift that we can give him is to continue to emulate his life in the things that we do every day. May the Almighty God give this giant of Africa eternal rest and peace until we meet again.
We talked to the people of our first experiences in the Legico as their representatives. I said that the council was a huge forest, the deep-rooted trees. We are trying to shake the trees, but they were firmly rooted.
Today we bid farewell to a legend of our country and our father. I say our father representing hundreds of thousands of the sons of this great leader who are not his biological children.
Moving on, the National Commission on Small Arms in Burundi has called on citizens owning weapons illegally to surrender them before April 1st this year, as failure to do so will result in legal action against them. Is supposed to hand over the weapons in a stipulated period because no action will be taken against them.
Silaha ni kitu kimbaya ambacho kinaweza kusababisha matatizo kwenye nchi yetu.
To me, I regard weapons as a tool that could bring problems to the country and even to that particular owner. It is easy to cause death at any particular moment. Whoever wishes well to this country must hand over their weapons. We want to live peacefully like other countries, like Tanzania.
Kwenye nchi kama nchi zingine kama Tanzania ama zingine kwa jinsi ambavyo wanaishi kwa amani.
It looks like German Chancellor Angela Merkel's grip on her Christian Democrats party is loosening after Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer announced that she was stepping down as the leader of the CDU and not run for the chancellorship 14 months after she became leader of the party. More on this from Deutsche Welle. We have our correspondent, a political correspondent, Thomas Sparrow. Thomas, what has led Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer to step down as the leader of the party?
It has to do with an unrelated event, if you will, which began last week in a very small German state in the former
Excuse me, Thomas, can you please repeat all of that
and
again?
What happened back then was actually what should have been at least the routine election of
Christian Democrats party is loosening after Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer announced that she was stepping down as the leader of the CDU and not run for the chancellorship 14 months after she became leader of the party. More on this from Deutsche Welle. We have correspondent Thomas Sparrow. Thomas, what has led Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer to step down as leader of the party?
It all started a few days ago in the eastern German state of Thuringia. The local governor there was elected. That's actually not very surprising in itself, but what was surprising was the way in which he was elected, because he managed to get the votes both of Angela Merkel's CDU party, so the party that is led by Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer, and also from the Alternative for Germany. And you may know that the Alternative for Germany is the party described as far-right and anti-immigrant, and those two votes actually created a political earthquake here in Germany, because for a very long time traditional parties in this country have vowed not to cooperate in any way with the far-right, and in particular that applies to the CDU, so both of Angela Merkel and Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer. So when that happened in the eastern state of Thuringia, you could imagine the reaction afterwards. You can imagine what led afterwards to Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer announcing that she would leave the party leadership when a replacement is found, and that she will not be the candidate for chancellor in the next elections. This has to do with the fact that she felt that her authority was not respected in the eastern part of the country, and that the regional CDU in Thuringia went against the party line, which said that the party cannot cooperate with the far right.
So what impact do these latest developments mean for CDU, Germany and Europe as a whole?
The first impact for Angela Merkel, so for the Chancellor, is that she will not be able to accomplish one of her main goals in these last few months as Chancellor. She wanted to leave power through Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer, through that process that was started a few months ago, in an organized way, without conflict, without controversy. That is certainly not the case. Angela Merkel's last months, or the last few months in office, will most probably be marked by discussing and trying to resolve all these things that are happening now, because Germany is above all now in a period of instability, of uncertainty, and Angela Merkel as Chancellor will probably be focusing more in trying to resolve this period of insecurity and instability here in the country than in probably focusing on some of the other issues that she had in mind. She will still continue obviously being Chancellor and leading the country, but at the same time she will have to focus in trying to help solve the mess that not only her party is in here, but the way that that party has led to this uncertainty in the country. For the CDU in particular, now comes a time where a lot of people will be trying to discuss who could become the next leader of the party, and by becoming the next leader of the party, who could also be then the candidate to lead the CDU in the next election. So the CDU being probably one of the most important, if not the most important party in Germany currently. And for Europe, it is also important because precisely now is when Germany needs to have a strong voice in Europe when you're talking about very important issues like the Brexit negotiations that are coming up, or relations with the US at a very important time in the US with elections coming up, or trying to resolve elections, trying to resolve the situation with China, relations with China, or working also hand in hand with African partners. So all this comes at a very bad time for Germany and a very important time for Europe.
So who is seen as likely to take over as the leader of the CDU party?
It is still too early to say who could lead the party in the future. Some names have obviously been mentioned, including, for example, Friedrich Merz, who is someone who has had a rather difficult relationship with Angela Merkel in the past and who lost against Kramp-Karrenbauer when the former leader was elected. So when Kramp-Karrenbauer was elected, Kramp-Karrenbauer actually fought or discussed that leadership with Friedrich Merz. Now Friedrich Merz seems to be one of the likely candidates to replace Kramp-Karrenbauer. Other names that have been mentioned include Markus Söder from the sister party of the CDU, so the CSU in Bavaria, or Jens Spahn, who's the health minister, or Armin Laschet, who is one of the regional leaders. So there are many, many possibilities, but again, it is still too early to say who could lead the party in the future and who could then also play a very important role in German politics in the future.
And how is Chancellor Angela Merkel handling the current situation within her party?
Angela Merkel said that she respected the decision by Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer, but also, well, that she regretted it in a way. Angela Merkel and Kramp-Karrenbauer have worked very close together, and in a way they will continue to work together, not only because Kramp-Karrenbauer will be leading the party until a new leader is found, until a candidate for the elections is found, but also she will continue being the defense minister here in the country, so Angela Merkel will continue to work with her hand in hand. But as we already discussed, this is a very difficult moment indeed for the German Chancellor.
All right, thank you so much, Thomas. We hope that the current period of political instability in Germany will soon be resolved. Thank you so much. And that is the end of international news. Business news follows shortly.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight. Air Tanzania Company Limited, ATCL, has called on entrepreneurs to look for business opportunities at the business forum organized by the company to be held in India on markets, transportation of goods, and also look for joint venture opportunities.
Za uchumi ambazo tunazitegemea ni kilimo, utalii, madini na
economic areas that are highly dependent on in the country includes agriculture, tourism, mining, among others. Thus, Air Tanzania is determined to transport business and non-business people to go to India in Mumbai city as a means of opening up doors to more trade relations between these two countries. The first trip will be done on 4th to 7th of March 2020. On 5th, we're expecting to hold a networking meeting with people from Tanzania and India. And on 6th, we will visit the big market in India to find out what kind of potentials Tanzania can benefit from.
na ama watu ambao wamesafiri kutoka Tanzania na wafanyabiashara wa kule India.
Loggers from Bukonda Moyo area in Kahama district, Shinyanga region, have expressed concern on the tax increase for ownership of sewing machines, which have gone up from 250,000 to 515,000 shillings. They say that this was hindering growth of their businesses.
Sisi tumewekewa kodi kubwa ambayo hizi mashine moja.
The burden of taxes is still high. We're supposed to pay 300,000 shillings for these machines, but now we are told to pay 500,000 shillings. How I wish these taxes were paid like TRA levies, where we pay twice or thrice a year.
Lakini mimi nafikiri hili mnalosema la mashine ndio tunalolibeba.
We will take the issue of machine levies seriously because it is legally recognized. It will be easy to talk through and come up with a collateral agreement, and definitely we will come back with answers.
Mimi tukafikisha kwenye ofisi zinazofikika, tutalizungumza na tutaliletea majibu hapa.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows shortly after this break. We'll be right back.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lynn.
And in sports news tonight, Tanzania's national women's football team, Twiga Stars, has flown to Tunisia to participate in the UNAF tournament, which are expected to start tomorrow and will end on 23rd of this month. We can't wait to continue with our journey to Tunisia. I believe that we are going to perform wonders at the tournaments because we are well prepared. So far, every player is enjoying the trip. The journey is good, although we are not used to such long flights. Personally, I am truly enjoying the experience alongside my fellow teammates and coaches. Two athletes who have met the requirements to take part on the Olympic Games, Alphonse Simbu and Failuna Abdi, will train in Kenya in preparation for the Games, which will commence on July 24th this year in Tokyo, Japan.
Hii inakwenda kutafuta viwango mpaka mwezi wa 7 bado wanatafuta viwango. Wachezaji wamepania.
The verification exercise is ongoing until July. However, the players are determined to reach standards needed because they are on extensive exercises right now. We have a runner called Faruna who has so far been participating in different marathons, and soon enough he'll be traveling to Kenya for a camp. Saidi Makula is now in States of America, who participated in a marathon this week.
Amekimbia, alikuwa mtu wa kwanza kule, lakini kwa muda sio mzuri.
Chelsea are in advanced talks to sign Ajax Hakim Ziyech this summer in a £38 million deal that is likely to be announced in the coming days. The 26-year-old was a January transfer target for Chelsea boss Frank Lampard. The signing of the Morocco international would be the first by Lampard following Chelsea's transfer window ban. Chelsea were linked with a number of signings in the January window, including Paris Saint-Germain forward Edinson Cavani and Napoli striker Dries Mertens. And FIA, Formula One's governing body, has accepted a request from Chinese organizers to postpone the Shanghai race due to take place on 19th of April. In a statement, said the decision has been made to ensure the health and safety of drivers, staff and fans, and the FIA Formula One community looks forward to racing in China as soon as possible. And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.